This is Future Proof, the show that packs your brain for the future. Your hosts are Robbie and Terry, both 15 years old. Every week, they argue about the jobs, the technology, and the big ideas headed our way. So you're ready before they get here.
Welcome back to Future Proof, the show that packs your brain for the future. I'm Terry.
And I'm Robbie. And today we're asking the big question, is the 9-to-5 workday basically a dinosaur at this point?
A very well-dressed dinosaur in a cubicle, maybe. But seriously, more people than ever are freelancing, driving, delivering, designing, all on their own schedule.
Right. And the numbers back that up. About 36% of American workers now do some kind of gig work. That's over 59 million people.
59 million, that's more than the entire population of South Korea just vibing and setting their own hours.
Okay, but let's be real. Setting your own hours sometimes means working at 2 in the morning because rent is due.
Fair point. Freedom is amazing until you realize freedom also means no paid sick days and no employer matching your retirement savings.
Which is a genuinely scary thing. Traditional jobs come with benefits, health insurance, vacation time, a boss who pretends to care about your birthday.
The birthday cake is underrated as a benefit, Robbie. But yeah, gig workers have to buy all that themselves, which eats into their earnings fast.
Still, the flexibility is real. Parents, students, people with disabilities, a lot of folks genuinely need work that bends around their lives.
And companies love it too, which is where it gets complicated. They save money by not hiring full-time staff, which shifts all the risk onto workers.
There's actually a name for that risk shift. Economists call it worker misclassification, treating employees like independent contractors to dodge paying benefits.
California tried to fix it with a law called AB 5, which basically said if it walks like an employee, pay it like an employee.
But then a ton of freelancers said, wait, we actually like being independent, so the law got revised. It turns out worker rights are complicated.
Almost like people are different and want different things. Shocking, I know.
Groundbreaking stuff, Terry. But here's something wild. App-based platforms like rideshare companies are worth hundreds of billions of dollars, built almost entirely on gig labor.
So the platform gets rich and the driver gets 4.8 stars and a lukewarm thank you. That math is a little lopsided.
Although some gig workers do really well. High-skill freelancers like developers or designers can charge way more than any salaried job would pay them.
So the gig economy is kind of two economies stitched together. One for people with rare skills, one for people who need any income fast.
Which means the same system can be liberation or a trap, depending entirely on what you're starting with.
That's actually a really important point. The gig economy doesn't create inequality, but it can definitely make existing inequality worse.
Or better if you design it right. Some countries are experimenting with portable benefits, where benefits follow the worker, not the job.
Like a little backpack of healthcare and vacation days that you carry from gig to gig. I want that backpack.
Denmark actually does something like this through their social safety net. Workers there can take gigs without losing healthcare because it's funded publicly.
See, that's the interesting thing. The problem isn't gig work itself. The problem is a system that ties survival to one specific employer.
And the pandemic kind of blew that up, right? Millions of people lost jobs overnight and realized maybe putting all your eggs in one corporate basket is risky.
Remote work exploded. People started side hustles. Companies realized their workers could be productive from anywhere. The 9-to-5 got very, very wobbly.
By 2023, remote and hybrid work was still at about 12.7% of all jobs in the US, even after companies started pushing back.
The pushback is real. Some CEOs are very loudly demanding everyone come back to the office, and some workers are very quietly updating their resumes.
The great return to office battle of our era. Spoiler, it is ongoing and nobody has fully won.
Gen Z, our actual generation, by the way, is entering a workforce where the rules are still being written, which is terrifying and exciting.
Mostly exciting if we're paying attention, which, to be fair, is kind of the whole point of this podcast.
We should put that on a mug. Future proof, mostly exciting if you're paying attention.
I would buy that mug. But back to gig work, do you think the 9 to 5 is actually dead or just on life support?
I think it's transforming. Like, the caterpillar isn't dead, it's just incredibly gooey right now and figuring out what it becomes next.
That is both the most optimistic and most disturbing metaphor you've ever used on this show.
I stand by it. Work is getting more flexible, more fragmented, and more personal. That's a real shift, even if it's messy.
The key is making sure the flexibility benefits workers, not just the platforms and companies booking their labor.
Which means policy, organizing, and people like us actually caring about these systems before we have to live inside them.
3 to 5 years, Terry, we'll be in this workforce. So yeah, let's care now while we still think we can change things.
We absolutely can change things. That is non-negotiable, but also maybe learn a marketable skill or two just in case.
Solid advice from a 15-year-old. The gig economy. More complicated than an app, more important than your star rating.
Thanks for thinking through this with us today. The future of work is uncertain, but the more you understand it, the more power you have.
Stay curious, stay scrappy, and remember, however work changes, your brain is always your best asset. See you next week on Future Proof.